welcome to the Christy Crow Sports Show, live here from downtown Union Springs on this beautiful Tuesday. We are so excited to be with you here today because we are getting to celebrate Bullitt County High School's first victory of the season. They won over Dadeville on Friday night, and we have a great show with Coach Spears and Kenny Owens, who was our player of the week, to share with you today. First, let me run down a few stats. Bullitt County showed up and brought it to the house on defense. They held the Dadeville to minus 24 yards on rushing and only 74 yards total overall. What a great way for our defense to show up. You know, we were talking about last week, defense wins championships. Well, Bullitt County brought the defense to the house on Friday night, and we are so glad that they did. In addition, the offense showed up. They had us racked up 472 yards of offense on Friday night. And you know, defense wins championships, but if the offense doesn't show up to score, you can't ever win. So we're so glad that the offense showed up. Unfortunately, there was some bad news as well Friday night. Our star running back, Jadarius Flintroy, had an accident. He partially fractured his ankle and dislocated it as well. So while there was a victory, there are also some hard things that happened to us on Friday night that we're going to have to suffer the consequences with the rest of the season, because now that Jadarius is out for the season, we had to have some folks step up, and with step up we did. We had Kenny Owens, who we're going to see later on today, and Kenny had, I'm going to get this right, 19 carries and 251 yards at the game Friday night. So even though we didn't have Jadarius in the game, we had Kenny, and we were so glad to have him and so grateful to have him there on Friday night. So we're going to talk to Kenny about his stats. We're going to talk to Coach Spears about the impact of losing such a dynamic player, and much more when we come back with the Christy Crow Sports Show.
In this beautiful downtown Bullitt County, Union Springs, it's a hot day. I love the heat. Some people don't like the heat. Guys, go ahead and text your questions in right now. Any questions you may have about the game, about our upcoming game, about anything that we got going on, please send your questions in now. Ain't this nice? Ain't this awesome? Y'all notice I'm normally super loud, but we're right outside the courthouse. My man walked outside. I'm kind of scared, you know, so I don't want him to do any research. May have some warrants out or something, so I don't want to cause any problems over here. But we just want you guys to see beautiful downtown Union Springs. We have two murals going up. We have Hank Williams, this first Hank Williams, not Hank Williams Jr., and he actually was on the back of a pickup truck playing music. Probably we in 40 something. I mean, it was just awesome. And a lot of the people in Bullitt County was sitting on the back of that pickup truck. And it's just amazing that it happened right here in Union Springs. His son, Hank Williams Jr., actually I saw him coming to 82 West one day and get something to eat. I was with a friend of mine. They went crazy like he was the biggest superstar in the world. But it was a lot of fun. And over here, we got my man Eddie Kendrick. I mean, just with the Temptations from Midway, Alabama, right here in Bullitt County. So next show, we may show y'all the two murals that are going up. I don't know who they got to paint those murals, but they absolutely amazing. So we're really excited about that. Need you guys to come out to Pike Road this Friday night. We're going to be at home against Pike Road at 7 o'clock. We're going to head inside. Miss Christy Crow, the president of the Alabama Bar Association, she is going to interview our main man, Candice Owens, who was Player of the Week this week by several organizations and was nominated by WSFA. Go right now and vote for Kenny Owens to win. They do a lot for our community. We're really excited about the opportunity to be represented. And put your questions in right now. We're going to answer your questions later in the show. And of course, each show is brought to you by Christy Crow and of course Jinx Crow and Dixon. This is the downtown office. It's a real office. Shh. Real office. Somebody got a birthday over here. Not this one. Melinda.
Oh.
She's in the back.
She's in the back somewhere.
Is she working? Here she is, ladies and gentlemen. Today is Melinda's birthday. We're very excited. I was alarmed to know she was born in 1996. So she's very, very, very young, fresh out of school, and she's working. How you feeling your birthday?
I feel wonderful.
Feel
So
good.
happy to be here. It's a blessing.
It's a blessing to be alive.
It sure is.
Yeah, you feel young,
Very young.
energetic.
Energetic.
Are you happy for Kenny?
I am.
Tell him how you know Kenny.
I know Kenny. I remember his mom. I had her when I worked in the school system. It's been several years ago. But I've known Kenny ever since he was little, a young baby. And I think he'll make a great, outstanding
When to win it?
to win it.
You think he'll
I
win
voted for him.
You voted for him.
Yes,
You know
I
you can
did.
vote again.
Okay. How many times can we
You
vote?
can vote once a day.
Every what? 12 hours?
Every maybe 24 hours.
24 hours?
And this
Okay.
between me and you. This does not leave his office. Now,
Okay.
it's a lawyer's office, right? So stuff got to stay secret.
It's confidential.
Confidential. This is
Yes.
between us. Kim Graham voted twice in one day.
Did she?
Yeah, once on her phone and once on her computer.
Oh my God, so I'll do that.
Yeah. So
Okay.
don't tell anybody. That's not the right way to do it.
Oh, okay. Oh, God.
Don't do that.
Okay.
That's sneaky.
Okay.
That's sneaky.
Okay.
But I think she did it under 2 separate accounts. Her account with her paper and her account with herself.
Okay.
So if you got a way to do that, that's even better.
Thank you
You
so
want me
much.
to go vote?
Go vote. Vote today.
That'd be the birthday gift for you.
Yes, it is.
That's unselfish.
Vote Kendius.
Yeah. Hey, graduated in 96, y'all.
Yes. 89.
89. She proud of her class, 1989. You going back here? Again, see your questions in. Somebody working hard. It's the Christy Crow Show. She got to film everything on the wall.
Oh yeah, well those are some cool pictures on the wall. Well, welcome back to Inside Jinx Crow and Dixon, where we're bringing you the Christy Crow Sports Show. One thing that I did forget to do at the beginning of the show, and I certainly don't want to do this again, is thank our sponsor. Vintage Cafe in Cloverdale is our sponsor for today's show. Kim Graham has done a great job of reaching out to folks in our community and folks with ties to Bullitt County and asking them to help sponsor the Bullitt County Hornets because our team needs help. And so thank you to Vintage Cafe and all of our sponsors. Speaking of sponsors, our Player Spotlight segment is brought to you by Piggly Wiggly, the United Methodist Church, Peachburg Circuit Church, and Calvary Baptist. Now, all of these folks have come together to help feed the team every week pregame. And that's important because they're out there, as y'all all know, it's pretty hot out there. And so they're out there sweating and working hard. And so having a good, healthy meal beforehand is really important. So we would like to thank the Piggly Wiggly, the United Methodist Church, Peachburg Circuit Church, and Calvary Baptist for feeding the team pregame. And so now we're here with Kenny Owens. Kenny is a senior this year. Kenny, tell us a little bit about what you have planned once you graduate from high school.
When I graduate, I would like to go to college, and my major will be computer science.
And Kenny, you are the Jinx Crow and Dixon Player of the Week this week. You had an amazing game. You were named Player of the Week by Max Preps for your team, by our office, and you're also a finalist in the WSFA Player of the Week, which is the news station in Montgomery. I know I got online and voted for you last night, and we've encouraged a lot of folks to do that. So if you're watching this, please, it's not too late, get online and vote for Kenny for the WSFA Player of the Week. So how does it feel to have all this attention for one game?
It's different, and it kind of feels good because it shows me that I can do it, and that I have a lot more that I can do because this is just the third game, so I like it.
Yeah. So who have you heard from that you weren't really expecting to hear from so far?
A lot of people.
I
A lot
bet.
of people. It was many people. Some of my people coming from Georgia. They was like, "Hey, we seen you on Facebook and all that." And I was like, "Yeah, thanks."
That's a lot of fun to hear from folks that you hadn't heard from in a while, I know. Well, you ended the game with 19 carries, 251 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Now, you don't just play one position, though, do you?
No, ma'am.
I understand you've played 3 positions this season already.
Yes, ma'am.
What's your favorite position and why?
I'd say defensive back. And I say defensive back because last year I didn't play defensive back at all. I just played running back. But Coach Vines, he's helped me a lot. And over the summer we worked with it, and I've become a better defensive back now.
What did you and Coach Vines work on over the summer that you think makes you a better defensive back than you were in previous seasons?
Well, he's taught me how to get in a better stance, first of all, because my stance was not good at all. Then he's taught me how to, when a receiver breaks out, how to get on the hip and all that, how to watch the hip and stop looking at the QB, because I just look in at the QB and I get beat deep, but I've gotten better with that.
Well, and obviously, did you play defensive back on Friday night?
Oh, yeah, man, a little bit.
Well, y'all, the defense did great Friday night. I think you heard me say that y'all held them to 74 yards total against Dadeville. That's a pretty good defense right there.
Yeah,
you combine that with the offense that y'all put on the field, and that you got to feel good about the whole game.
Yeah.
So your guys are tied for fourth and with 4 other teams in the region. Do you think you can make the playoffs this year?
I have a good feeling. We don't get beat. We beat ourselves. Like, we stab ourselves in the foot. So I feel that if we fix those mistakes, we could be a top team and we'll make it to the playoffs.
Do you think y'all made mistakes Friday night?
Yeah, we made a lot of mistakes. Actually, we talked about those yesterday.
And are you working on those so you won't make those again this coming up Friday night?
Yeah, we can't make mistakes this Friday. We cannot make mistakes.
Well, we want to thank Kenny for joining us today on the Christy Crow Sports Show. And again, congratulations on being the Jinx Crow and Dixon Player of the Week, the Max Preps Player of the Week, and the finalist and the WSFA Player of the Week. Everybody get online and vote for Kenny for Player of the Week on WSFA. The voting ends on Wednesday, I believe. So you have more than 24 hours still to vote for Kenny. So please get online and support the Bullitt County Hornets and Kenny Owens. Thank you so much, Kenny, for joining me today.
Thanks.
When we come back, we're going to sit down with Coach Willie Spears and take your questions. So send your questions in now if you'd like to ask any questions about last week's game or the game on Friday night that's coming up with Pike Road.
I want to say thank you for everyone who voted for me. Get online and vote, please vote, please vote. And I want to say thank you to my old line, because this would not be possible without y'all and everybody else who helped me. Thank you.
All right, somebody outside said they've known Kenny since he was little. I said that could have been yesterday. So he's a smaller guy with a big heart. He's very tough. And so if you watch the game and see all the hits he takes and how he bounces back up, it says a lot about who he is and his work ethic in all season.
Well, anybody that can play both sides of the ball like that has to be pretty tough and smart, because you have to learn a lot to play a good defense and a good offense. And he was telling us earlier how defensive back is really his favorite position, but obviously he's doing great on offense too.
Yeah, he's going to be a college defensive back. He's a little too small to play running back at the college level. His body won't be able to take that pounding. But at defensive back, with his speed and quickness, he's going to be able to have a lot of fun next year playing at a higher level. So we're excited to see his maturation and the recruiting process and how that works. But what's really exciting is how well the offense, defense, and special teams played last week. I think it shocked us as coaches. So it was a lot of fun to watch.
I know that was fun to watch, and I know that you're really proud of them. And this Coach's Corner is brought to you by Ben & Gier, located at 405 Cloverdale Road in Montgomery, Alabama. And again, we really appreciate Ben & Gier for supporting the Coach's Corner here today. So, you said it was fun to watch. How does it feel to have the first win out of the way? I know that's the biggest one, right?
Yeah, this is the big one, because if you keep losing, it's like, will we ever get a win? You know, and so it's been tough on us. We really thought we were going to get those first two, even though they were against ranked opponents, even though they were both undefeated, even though they both came into the season being favored to play for the state championship. We really thought we had a chance. And what hurts is when the young people don't believe anymore. When they think, well, we thought we were going to win every game. You know, I think only one team in the state went undefeated last year.
Right.
They think that, and when you lose two, it's like the coaches have been lying to us. We're not any good. We can't play football. And so to get that win, it kind of validates what we've been telling the players. So it felt really good. It's a good bus ride home when you win. It's a good Saturday when you win. And you don't go home and kick the dog. I mean, everything goes great after a win.
Well, and this wasn't just a win. This was a resounding win. I mean, you dominated all three sections of the game. How do you explain the jump? I mean, have y'all gotten that much better in a week?
Yeah, great question. It's a few things. One, we played top opponents. So when you think of it's kind of like LeBron James is rich, right? He has a lot of money.
Rumor has it.
Okay. But he doesn't have Bill Gates money. You see what I'm saying? I mean, so there's levels to this, as someone once said. So I may think, man, I got a little bit of money. But then I go to LeBron James and realize, well, I don't have any money at all.
Yeah.
And so what happened is we played 2 premier programs. And we look like a good program, because that's what we are. We're not a premier program. We're a pretty good program. We're on the rise. We played Dadeville. Dadeville is just like us. This year they may be a little bit lower than they have been, but they've won several region championships. They've had about 5 undefeated seasons. The coach has been there for over 20 years. So they're a good program. And what happened, we just hit on all cylinders. It's like we pulled a slot machine and all 7s rolled up. I mean, the special teams played great. The defense played great. The offense played great. And so what you want is what happened. And you want to peak at the right time. You don't want to be your best week 1. You don't want to be your best week 3. So if we can take one small step Friday night from what just happened, we'll see who we really are. Because someone asked me that today. One of the teachers said, Coach, are we good or is Dadeville bad? And I said, we'll find out Friday. We'll find out a lot about ourselves.
Well, I know there's no good or bad. It's just ranges. And y'all had a great game Friday night. And I know that had to make all the players feel better. Tell me about Jadarius, though. Jadarius Flint-Roy, that was a bad injury.
It was so bad when it happened. Instantly, we had 5 players crying. I'm talking about these big, tough football players. I mean, instantly, tears. Because his foot was turned backwards. I mean, so his foot is facing this way, and it was turned this way. He dislocated. So you imagine your ankle's in a joint, and it come out of the joint and was turned backwards, and he fractured a small bone in his ankle. So it hurt for a lot of reasons. 1, it hurt because it was gruesome to look at. 2, it hurt because he, at the time, was our team leader in almost every offensive category. So you're losing a big-time offensive explosion. And he was on the ground crying. He was saying, Coach, why me? Why me? And as I've said on this show before, injuries and football go together like peanut butter and jelly. I mean, it's just part of it. So you don't like it. It's not a good thing. We're praying for him. We're loving on him. We're reaching out to him. And what we hope happens is that our players can learn from this, not to take anything for granted. It was not a dirty play. It wasn't anything foul. His foot just got caught underneath the guy's hip, and he got bent the other way when that happened. And so he's been a great sport about it. His mom has been tremendous. The people of Dadeville have been amazing. Coach White has reached out. Fans in the stands have reached out to me and to his mother and to our school. And so even the officials, the referees called me, because we wanted to check on number 6 and make sure he was all right. And so that's the great thing about sport. It brings communities together. So that was great. He got taken off in the ambulance, and they went and sedated him, and they moved the ankle back, and I couldn't be in the medical field. I just couldn't do it. So it was bad. It was really, really bad, and it hurt us. But guys like Kenny got to step up.
Right.
Other guys got to step up. When one guy goes down, somebody has to step up. We had about 6 injuries. That was the worst. We had about 6 season injuries, just fluke things. And I say season ending, some of these guys will come back. And so we're still praying for Jadarius. Very happy for his leadership that he's provided. And we're hoping that he will come around. Because sometimes, you don't want to be around it because it kind of hurts to see other guys playing. But we're hoping he'll come around and be a student coach, be in the box, write down plays for us, and tell us what he sees. A player sees things different than a coach. And so I think he can still help us in a lot of ways. And he's been a great leader for us.
Well, I know with the leadership he's shown in the past that he will continue to help y'all in any way he can. And please say some extra prayers for him. If y'all are watching on Facebook now or later, I know he and his family would really appreciate all the prayers from everyone in the Hornet Nation. What impact do you think his injury is going to have on the rest of the season?
It's going to hurt. He was a backup on defense. He had a kick return for a touchdown against Reeltown. In the game he got hurt, he had a 56-yard run right before he got hurt. A long run, and so we got to find a way to make that offense up because it's gonna be difficult losing a guy of his stature. He has a great build, he has decent speed, has very good hands, so it's gonna be tough. But again, like I said, someone has to step up and get the job done, and so we're looking for that person, and we'll find out Friday night how big a loss it is, because when things get bad, we just get about Fintra, and we can't do that anymore. And we found out the other night because we didn't have him for most of the game. And the guys stepped up and they played hard for Flint-Roy. They kept saying, like Kenny kept saying, guys, we owe this to Flint. Now let's get this done for Flint-Roy. So I think we would have won the game, but it was like a battle cry to dominate so that when Flint-Roy woke up out of it and put him to sleep, he's going to ask, did we win the game? And it was awesome that the nurse was able to say, you guys won the game, Jadarius. And so it says a lot about the fortitude, and it says a lot about the love and the family atmosphere our players have.
Yes, it does, and I know that they will come together around him as much as they can and support him all the ways that they can.
We need that mojo
about
about 10 more weeks, though.
Yeah, we do. I know. Speaking of the future, another undefeated team that you're coming up against on Friday night.
For the record, I didn't make this schedule.
That's about the 20th time you've said that on this record, and I'm sure every other record, because that's a tough fourth game of the season, especially since it's your third undefeated team. What do you expect with Pike Road coming this Friday night?
Very good team. Their offensive coordinator used to be the offensive coordinator at Faulkner, and I know him, and he does a great job. Their head coach, Patrick, does a great job. The defensive coordinator used to work with Coach Richardson, does a great job. They're very fast. They're very physical. They're very big. They're very good. But you find out who you really are when you play great opponents. You know, you don't find out who you are playing someone you know you can beat. You find out who you really are when you play someone that's good. So, not that David wasn't good, but we really need a quality win. So if we can defeat Pike Road on Friday night, that will be a quality win. It'll be tough. We can't do it without the fans. We need everybody to show up. We need to have more fans here than they do. They're right down the street. You know, it could become a rivalry. We have to win before it become a rivalry, but they're right down 110. It could be the Battle of 110. You know, they're right down the road and right there at Old Georgia Washington Middle School. And so they do a great job over there. They're getting their own stadium built. Pike Road is going to become its own community with its own football team. I think last year they took us up lightly. They didn't think we'd have a chance to beat them, and we were winning at the half, and we ended up losing by 3. You know, and they have a tremendous kicker, probably one of the best kickers in the state. They have a new quarterback they brought in. He's a senior. He has he's got a cannon. He's left-handed. The kicker's left-handed, and so that kind of gives you problems because everything you practice is for a right-handed guy. And same with kicking. And so we're excited for the challenge. I wouldn't have it any other way. You know, we want to play the best of the best, but we really feel that this will show us where we really are. We believe that St. James is here, MA is here, Pike Road is right there, and we're right beneath. You know, and so a win can propel us above. You know, we believe we're right there with Beulah and Daveville, our program, and we have to get these wins to take our program to the next level. So we need this litmus test to find out where we really are.
Well, and playing good teams will make you a better team. Win, lose, or draw, playing a good team will make you a better team. Speaking of getting better, this year we've seen that the recreation department is having a great year.
Yes.
Our 11 and 12-year-olds are undefeated.
We need them to come play Friday night. That's what we need.
I know, wouldn't that be great? And then our middle school is also undefeated. So do you keep an eye on these programs? Do you like to find out what they're doing and what they're doing right and see if is there an advantage to being the only high school here in town so you know you're going to get these kids coming up through your program?
Huge advantage and great question. If you're in Montgomery and there's a kid that's supposed to go to your high school, he may or may not go. We're probably going to get 95% of our kids. There may be 1 or 2 that go to Macon East or 1 or 2 that goes to Montgomery, but we're going to get 95%. So I know who the 5th grade quarterback is. Coach Courtney Woodfall coaches the 5 and 6-year-olds. I know who that quarterback is. I know who the 7 and 8-year-old quarterback is. I know the 11 and 12-year-old quarterback. I know the running back. I know the lineman. And Coach Dardell has done a great job with the rec department this year as he's taken over. And he's done a great job with the 11 and 12-year-old team. They're learning the fundamentals of football. They're learning how to get in the stands. They're learning how to line up. They're learning how to play with great passion. They're learning how to play hurt. You know, and so those things are important. And then in the middle school, Coach Wright is doing an amazing job. Another great year at the middle school. Those guys are undefeated. So when we get them, they're going to know how to win. And they're going to expect to win. You know, when I got the job, that really wasn't the case. The high school had lost for so many years. It was kind of like in our DNA, our culture, to lose. You know, we don't have a chance. We're not going to win. We're Bullock County. Well, that's obviously not the case anymore. So the 11 and 12-year-olds are doing an awesome job. So are the little guys, but they're undefeated. The middle school's undefeated, and we believe that's going to correlate to the high school. We believe that it's going to just keep going, and we want those guys to be able to say, man, we hadn't lost a game since we was 11 years old. Yeah. You know, and that's an advantage that we have over a Pike Road. That's an advantage we have over schools from Montgomery or even other schools that we play because a lot of transfers come into those schools, and it's kind of like a Frankenstein. Doesn't mean they can't be good, but our players have been playing together since they were little boys. You know, they know each other, and that gives you a little slight advantage because there's a brotherhood element there that other teams may only have when things are going good. So when adversity hits, you find out who you really are. Well, them guys have been down at halftime when they were 7 and won. So they can draw back on those memories and those times and say, you know what, guys, we're not out of this. You know, we've been there before, so it's pretty exciting.
And then they're together.
Right, and they're together, and we're all Hornets.
Yeah.
The Little League is a Hornet. The middle school, like, so you grow up your whole life. I mean, that mom can wear that shirt with that number 5 on it from Little League all the way up because her baby is still a Hornet wearing black and gold. And so, man, it's really cool to be in a town like Bullock County that loves its sports and cares for its children the way they do.
Well, I know too, as your program grows, that Coach Wright and the other coaches will likely implement some of the same plays that you have, so those kids can learn those plays at a younger age and be perfecting them in high school, right, as opposed to learning them in high school.
And that's
that
an
makes
advantage
a big difference.
that Montgomery Academy has on us in St. James. Those guys are in their program in 6th grade. They're learning how to lift weights with the high school in 6th grade. They're learning the plays, and they're running the same offensive line, same quarterback, same running back, 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade, 9th grade. So when they get to the 10th grade, it's like, Coach, we know what to do. On 3rd and 4, we always run this play. Coach, when we're on this sideline, we always throw the pass to this guy. If they're in this coverage, we always do this. How do you know that? We were doing it when we were 6 years old. And so you gain confidence because repetition is the mother of learning. And the more you do something over and over again, the better you get at it. We don't have that confidence and experience yet. We have the athletes,
right,
but we don't have the confidence and experience. And it's coming. It's just going to take some time.
Oh, sure. Well, anything that's good is worth waiting for. And we have been waiting for a long time for this to be coming, and we're so glad that it's coming. And it was here past Friday night, and we're hoping it's here this next Friday night. Do we have any questions?
One question. Antoine Rodman said, where can he purchase some Hornets gear?
He can go to Adams Pecans. It's located in Union Springs, Alabama, behind Sunoco. They have everything. Whatever you want. You want a cell phone? Go to Adams Pecans. You want the winning lottery ticket numbers? They have that.
Kim's got it.
Yeah,
Kim's got it.
Kim's got it. That's
Yeah,
yourself. Kim's got
Kim's
it.
got
Shirts. They have shirts. They have phone accessories. They have hair. Like my hair is not that long, so I could go there and buy me some extensions. If you want to get a little cowbell, they have that. But yeah, go get all your Bullock County gear. They have a whole store with clothing in there, and it's a great place. And what's great about it, you can get a personalized item. Like you see a shirt, but you don't like it. You say, I want a shirt like that, but I want number 14 on the shirt or number 27. You can do that. So go to Adams Pecans.
And support your favorite player or the player of the week.
The player of the week,
Yeah.
Kenny is Owens, baby. In the 129 pound club, he is the player of the week. We're so excited.
Another question by Jim Chapbell. Am I saying it right? How do you feel about the movie Rudy?
That's a guy I know. He used to work with us. He's trying to be funny. Obviously, you're not working right now, sir. I'm going to talk to your boss about that. There's a new Rudy coming out. It's about Kentucky Fried Chicken. Have you seen that commercial? But that's a little inside joke. I'm going to get him when I see it.
Yeah, you should. You should. I'm sure that was a great movie, and it was very inspiring for a lot of people.
Yeah, definitely. Any more
Okay.
questions?
Yeah. How do you mentally prepare yourself and players before a game?
It's a great question.
That is a great question.
What I try to do for myself is, one, I try to remember it's a game. Because if not, you can lose your mind. You know, you have to remember these are children, and it's a game. I know it seems like they're professionals because all the attention we put on it, but they're 15 years old, and their girlfriend might have broke up with them at the pep rally, or their mom might have got in an argument with them because they didn't clean their room. I mean, they're children. I mean, they lift weights, and they're buff, and they talk tough, but they're 15, 16, 17, 18-year-old children. So I try to remember that, number one. Number two, I try to remember that the outcome of the game is not going to last as long as the relationship I have with the child. You know, one of my former players, he plays in college now. I don't know who, his name is James Ellis, James Jr., we call it. His mom's birthday is today. And I always joke with the guys. His mom was sick when I coached him. She's doing much better now, but she was sick, and I would go visit her. And I would joke with him and say, man, I'm probably going to be your new stepdad. And he would say, Coach, man, that ain't funny, man. That ain't funny. So on Facebook today, it popped up that it was her birthday. So I texted him and said, hey, man, make sure you wish my girl happy birthday today because it's her birthday. He called me. I was in the middle of class. He said, you don't got to remind me. I know when my mama's birthday is. You don't got to remind me. And so he doesn't talk to me about what game we won. Did we beat this team? It's the relationship that lasts as longer than the game. So I try to remember that. That kind of helped me mentally prepare. And also, we try to outwork everybody. I mean, we give the players a scouting report that we tell them everything we think the team is going to do. We try to break down everything about the team, the offensive line, the defensive line, the coverage they're going to have. We have a great coaching staff. And you see what the offense did. That's Coach Richardson and his offensive coaches. And you see what the defense did. That's Coach Vines, his offensive coaches. Those are the players executing what the coaches implemented. So for me, I'm just a cheerleader. You know, all I got to do is clap and blow the whistle. Those guys do all the leg work. So Mentally, I try to prepare by doing those things. And then in my spiritual life, I try to have a little study time every day, try to read a devotional. We try to pray before each meeting because that brings us back down to reality. Because when you're losing, everybody's telling you what you're doing wrong. I mean, from Little League to the NFL. You know, everybody in the stands.
Everybody's a professional.
Right,
Everybody's
exactly.
a coach.
Right.
They can all tell you how to do it.
And that's cool with me.
People do that for lawyers too, by the way.
Yeah, you should have done it this way.
Yeah.
Why didn't you ask this question?
Right.
Yeah.
Or,
So
you know,
it's tough.
it
You
is
want to know,
tough.
why didn't you go to school to learn how to do this and you could be sitting in this chair?
Exactly.
It's not as easy as it looks.
It is not, and you do a lot more than blow the whistle and
Yeah.
cheer them on, and we are really appreciative of everything you do.
We appreciate it.
When is the next cake raffle?
The winner of the next cake raffle. We had that question last week. We need to go ahead and do a cake raffle.
We do need to do a cake raffle, and it will not be a cake that I bake.
You're not a
or else-
baker.
I'm not a baker.
That's not your strength.
Not my strength.
Stay in your lane.
I know how.
You practice law.
I'm a great person at practicing law.
Okay.
Baking cakes. Amber Anderson does a great job.
Yes, she does.
We have lots of good cake bakers here in town, but it's not me.
What was the lady that baked the cake last week from the church? Peachbird Circuit.
Miss Lowe.
Oh my goodness. I still
Was
got
it
some of the key
good?
lime cupcakes at my
Ooh.
house. They melt in your mouth. Like when you eat it, you just ask God for forgiveness because you know this is gotta be bad. Like it melts. Like it's so good.
They even have a sin cake.
Yeah.
Maybe
See, she's probably
Maybe
the one that bakes the sin cake.
she probably does.
But I guess to answer the question, this month for sure we'll have a cake raffle.
One, there's less than 2 weeks left in the month, so you
Yeah,
know we'll
it's
have it
coming.
the next couple of weeks.
It's coming. Any other questions?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Well,
No.
before we wrap up, what are your picks for the college weekend? We got a big college weekend coming up.
Your Auburn Tigers have a big game.
Yeah, A&M's coming up. Texas A&M.
What you think about that one?
It's gonna be tough. We're on home field advantage for Texas A&M, so that's gonna be tough. But we're winning, and we're thinking about winning. We think we can win, and that gives us a big advantage, I think. So
Yeah, that's
I'm
good.
picking Auburn.
You're a big fan, of course. Where you gonna watch the game at?
You know, I have no idea.
You haven't figured it
I
out
haven't
yet,
figured that out.
but you will be watching.
I will be watching. No question about
Is
that.
the whole house Auburn fans?
Yes, we are.
Everybody.
We would have to send them to live with you if they
I
were.
got it. They don't have a
Auburn
choice.
fans. No, that's
Yeah.
not really a choice
We
in
pay
our
the
house.
bills here.
Yeah.
You're room for Auburn.
Orange and blue.
I got you. So yeah, I don't know. Texas A&M is good. Auburn's on a high. Bo Nix is way better than I thought he would be. I mean, he's just unbelievable.
Bo knows football.
Bo knows football. I love the defensive line. It's a defensive lineman there. I didn't coach him, but he played at Carver before I got there, and I've met him. Number 3, he's a great kid. And then there's a backup quarterback at Texas A&M that played at Lanier, and he is so down to earth. Was a 4-star quarterback coming out of Lanier, and I got to meet him in our rival there when I was in Montgomery. So I want those kids to do well. You know,
Sure.
you meet them and you just want them to do well. And so if I had to pick a winner, because we're 40 miles from Auburn, I would go with the Auburn Tigers.
Well, then we've got Alabama and Southern Miss. That's probably a no-brainer.
Yeah, no brainer. But Southern Miss did win last week against Troy. I think that shocked a few people. They beat Southern Miss beat Troy, and I've had several players play for Southern Mississippi. And so yeah, we're gonna go with Alabama now. I think that's a smart bet.
Well, speaking of Troy, you think they're going to come back with Akron and prove themselves? And
They better because Coach Lindsey may be coaching at Bullitt County next year if he can't get. I mean, them Auburn fans are
that
ruthless.
position is taken.
That's
so,
right.
Yeah.
He'll be an assistant.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but Coach Lindsey's a great guy. I met him when he was at Auburn years ago, and I think a lot of him in this program. But losing to Southern Miss was a shock, I'm sure, because they've been winning Sun Belt championships for the last few years. And so I think they'll beat Akron, but I think they better not take them lightly.
Well, you never take any opponent lightly.
That's right.
Faulkner, you think they're going to win?
Faulkner plays. They went deep in the playoffs 2 or 3 years ago, and I don't remember who they played. But Faulkner is going to have a good game because they're close to us, and we always root for Faulkner and Huntington because they're close.
And A&M.
And A&M, that's right.
Yeah. And well, maybe not always A&M when they're playing Alabama State.
Alabama State is going to be. They lost a tough one to Kennesaw State. We had a lot of players go to that game for unofficial recruiting visit. That was a great experience for them, and we are happy with Alabama State is doing. They treat us so well.
Yeah,
we're
that's
little
a great
baby.
supporter
We're a
of
baby
ours.
Hornet, so we appreciate that.
Notre Dame and Georgia, you think?
Well, who you like?
I
Notre Dame
think
and Georgia?
Georgia's going to get it. Notre Dame always is overranked in my
Yeah,
opinion.
that's what everybody in the South says.
Yeah,
Nobody
I
in the
know,
South gets
I
that.
know,
Yeah, but I agree with you. Georgia's going to do well. Kirby Smart's an amazing coach, and so I think they're going to do well.
The final one we're going to talk about, Michigan and Wisconsin.
You know, Wisconsin lost to University of Central Florida.
I know, but University of Central Florida is a lot better than they get credit for.
I agree with that. Michigan has a new offensive coordinator who came from Alabama. Michigan's a little overrated. I love Jim Harbaugh, but they just can't seem to turn that corner. I'm going to have to go with Michigan slightly because Wisconsin, if they got beat that bad by UCF, not saying UCF's not good, they shouldn't be able to handle Michigan, but it'll be a good game.
It's going to be a good game, a good weekend of football, starting with the Bullitt County Hornets. What time's kickoff on Friday
7 o'clock. You need to be
7
there.
7 o'clock here at home. We're so excited to have all of our fans show up with your cowbells from Adams Pecans and all your gear on. So please try to make it out to the game. Support our team.
Yeah.
And also,
make sure we vote. They got to vote for Kenny.
Yes. Before then, we got to vote for Kenny. So that's WSFA. You can go on there. Player of the week is our own.
And if he
Kenny
wins,
Owens.
WSFA comes to us. They come to
great.
the high school. They make a presentation. At the end of the year, all the winners get to go to WSFA for a big party.
Well, he's going to be a winner and he's going to love it.
We're going to make it happen.
We're going to make it
And
happen.
you say you already
vote
voted.
early and vote often. That's
like
all I
it.
can say.
I like it. So these are $10. These are absolutely amazing. Like, I don't know if Coach Spears knows what he's doing, but whoever put together this program definitely know what they're doing. These things are nice. A couple people say they look like a college program.
It is really incredible. I bought mine at the opening home game, and it's great.
All color.
Yeah.
All color. We got a lot of our sponsors on the inside, of course. We have an article by our #1 fan, Red Cooper, have pictures of all the boys. And what I love about it is the players are in suit and tie. That's what I love about it. I think all young men should dress up every once in a while. And so please get your copy. They're $10. You can get them at Adams Pecans. And I'm excited that we get the Calvin. There's Flint Troy. You can get Flint Troy to sign that for you. That'll be pretty neat. And we want to support the young people in this community. Please go out and support our rec league and our middle school. They're doing a great job. And, of course, support our teachers who do a great job in the classroom.
Yeah, and I was so proud of the student athletes that went out and sold the ads for that. I mean, you know, that was a great way to raise some money and raise awareness of our program.
And meet people in the community.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of times when you live in a community, you only stay in your area, your neck of the woods, around the people that you know. So when you sell those ads, you have to get around people that are different than you, that come from different places than you, have different interests, and it teaches you how to get along with the world, and we become more of a melting pot. So it was a great thing this whole summer. Kim did a great job. Ms. Wilma Smith did a great job. Ms. Renee from Allen Pecan, Felicia, she got 15 names. They did a great job of going around and rounding these guys up and making sure they got in the community and got outside their comfort zone. They're comfortable with a helmet on in the weight room, but having to dress nice and shake somebody's hand and look them in the eye, those are skills they're going to need later in life.
Amen. Well, thank you so much, Coach Spears, for joining me on the Christy Crow Sports Show. We will see you next week.